Today we're going to be looking at the new Sonic the Hedgehog Metal Sonic action figure released by Jakks Sonic like a month ago, and they are available at retail for $10 in the United States. Now, for some reason, and I'm not so sure why, but like when I was trying to find the Wave 2 figures, like aside from Sonic and Tails, I mean, Knuckles and Metal Sonic was very difficult for me to find. I'm not so sure if it's because they're the only new characters in this wave, or maybe it just could be because like these figures are becoming extremely popular, especially since they have a more wider release compared to the Tomy Sonic line. But for some reason, it was really difficult for me to find these figures, but I was able to get them on Amazon for the exact same price. On the back, it shows you that this figure has 13 points of articulation. I'll talk about the articulation on this figure later. And there's a description. It has them translated, but the English one says, Metal Sonic was created to match and even surpass all of Sonic's abilities. His sinister, glowing red eyes and his razor-sharp quills and hands are proof of his dark intentions. And the other figures that are in the second wave are Sonic with a snowboard, a reissue of Tails with a different accessory, Metal Sonic, and Knuckles. And I heard that there's a leak on Toy Wiz where basically I feel like there's going to be a pattern with these figures where, like, unlike World Nintendo, where it's kind of very inconsistent when it comes to variances, new figures, and re-releases. But I feel like the Sonic line is going to be a bit more consistent, where they're going to have two new characters and two either re-releases of an existing character they already made or a variant of a character. Because in this case, this Sonic is actually different compared to the one from the previous wave. I'm only interested in Metal Sonic and Knuckles. In fact, stay tuned because I'm going to get my Knuckles figure soon. But yeah, I have no interest in Tails because he's exactly the same as the first one. And even though the face on Sonic looks a lot better than the Wave 1 figure, I'd rather just have just one standard Sonic. Unless if I was buying it for a custom or something. But anyways, we're going to open this figure up and have a closer look at it. For comparison, here is, to start off with, his accessory. He comes with the trap spring, and I don't remember these in the game actually. I mean, I've played some modern Sonic games like Sonic Generations and Sonic Forces, but I don't really remember this item being in any of those games. I mean, they probably might have, but I don't know. It's probably one of the most forgettable objects in Sonic. I mean, I recognize the spring and the 10 rings and the spikes and all that stuff, but I don't remember the trap spring. But it has an ejection. So like if you were to like, is it supposed to be like a button or something, or it's supposed to be like a trap? I'll probably have to watch a video on the spring trap in action just to know what it actually really does. For comparison, here is the Tomy Metal Sonic figure that came out. I have modified this figure to make him look a bit better, but he is pretty sticky though, so yeah, I'd say the Jakks figure is a million times better. I always consider the Metal Sonic figure to be one of Tomy's worst Sonic figures, so yeah, cause like it's not that the pre-posability was bad and all, but it lacked a lot of paint details because it looks so awkward. Cause even though he does have the matte finish, he was missing paint details like the back jet, which I added in myself. And not to mention that, I don't know, just the fact that he's a much darker blue just doesn't really match up with the light gray color that they use. At least the Jakks one sort of fits a lot better. Another comparison here is the Metal Sonic figure, the 3-inch one from Jazzwares. And now he has so much shiny, like silver, in his gray areas, which is good. I mean, I think the silver looks better on the Jazzwares figure, but I kind of think the Jakks one is a little bit better. I mean, sure, the Jakks figure isn't really like shiny like the Jazzwares figure, but I mean, some of the plastic I mean, because his plastic is not really matte finishy, it looks... I mean, he looks shiny. Like, not just on camera, but just, like, in the hand. I feel like that kind of makes up for, like, not having, the metallic paint. Like the Jazzers one is. So, yeah, I mean, both figures are great, but I actually kind of like the Jakks specific figure a little more. Especially since they have more detail than the Jazzers one. Like, okay, look at Jazzers Metal Sonic's hand. And then look at Jakks Specific's Metal Sonic hand. Notice how much detail it has in the Jazzers one. I mean, the Jazzers one's still good, but man, the Jakks figure just blows the Jazzers figure away. I mean, no offense to people who prefer the Jazzers figure over the Jakks one. I'm just saying. And the last comparison, at least in terms of Metal Sonic, is the bendable one that came out during the second wave of bendable figures. Yeah, they're pretty different. I mean, there's no competition. The action figure one looks a lot better. I mean, the bendable one is good, but I don't really think robotic characters really translate well into bendable figure form. It kind of makes them look a bit cheesy by design. And then our last comparison, it is Sonic from Wave 1. Now, I think they're supposed to be around the same height canonically, and I think they scaled them well. So that's kind of pretty much it for the comparisons. Now, let's take a look at the figure itself. Now, you'll notice some mistakes on my figure. Like, for example, his right eye is a lot more noticeable than his left eye. And also, I'm not so sure if you can see it, but I think some of the inside of his stomach was accidentally painted over on his body. Here's the back jet. It was actually painted on this time, like the bendable figure. And you can see that there's some that they went over the details of, like, the silver area. Yeah, this figure is very flawed. Not to mention that it's very loose compared to the others. I mean, I remember, like, not being a fan of Shadow from the first wave, but I think Metal Sonic is a little bit worse when it comes to, like the quality. I mean, his sculpt is amazing. He has great amount of articulation. I'll go over the articulation later. It's just that I feel like his quality is just not as good as, like, the others. So I kind of hope this doesn't happen. I mean, this is the beginning of the Sonic wave, so I mean, because, like, when Jakks Pacific started making World Nintendo figures, in late 2014, like, they weren't really the best, at least in terms of quality, because the paint job was very shoddy, like overspray, underspray. Sometimes there would be some weird decisions. But because they had the license for like 6 or 7 years. So, like, I think they sort of mastered, like, their figures. Like, the paint jobs got a lot better and the quality started to improve a little, even though there are some rare cases of weird defects. So, yeah, so my Metal Sonic is not that great, but I think your Metal Sonic might be a lot better. But he does look exactly like Metal Sonic from the Sonic games after Sonic Adventure. Articulation, his head rotates. I think it's on a ball joint. Pin disc shoulders, they go up and down and forwards and backwards. They don't go up that much. That's as far as you can get. Just like Eggman, he actually has pin disc elbows. So you can just bend them. That's as far as it can go. Up and down and sideways. Ball joints in the wrists. Pin disc hips. Go up and down and move around. I think one flaw, why my figures' legs are very loose is because the way the pin disc knee is made, I feel like they're very loose, and I don't know why, but like basically his knees can go up and down, and they can move side to side. And lastly, his ankles are ball jointed. So yeah, that's basically it for this figure. I mean, I really like this figure a lot, but I am really disappointed though of the quality of the figure I specifically have. Though I think it's probably just because I bought it on Amazon, and sometimes when people order stuff on Amazon, it kind of varies with results. And it's not the well, okay, maybe I shouldn't blame Amazon. I probably just should blame the Jakks Pacific factory for making such a defective figure like this, but again, it's not the worst action figure of all time. I mean, I can get around to it from its amazing sculpt and paint job. And the spring trap is a pretty cool accessory as well. I like the printed Eggman logo. So yeah, I probably would grade Metal Sonic maybe a B. So even though he doesn't have the metallic shine as the Jazzwares Metal Sonic figure, I think the shininess in the blue plastic and all the little paint details that the Jazzwares figure didn't have, I think kind of makes up for it. But anyways, thank you for watching, and tune into my review on Knuckles.